It's been about a year since I last uploaded, and what a ridiculous year it's been. Welcome back. If you're new to the channel, I'm a woke black teacher, and on this channel we talk about teaching, learning, and social justice. Today, we are gonna catch up a little bit. I've been gone for over a year. There's just been so much that has been going on in 2020, and I just haven't had the time to upload. And I think that now more than ever, there are not only a lot of teachers, but a lot of students and a lot of parents out there who are just looking for support in any way possible, especially online. Just over the past few months, we've seen the continued and senseless murder of Black men and women in cold blood at the hands of police officers. We are facing a global pandemic that has our schools closed, and there's no real sign of when it is going to be safe to reopen. And now, more than ever, people, especially children, are spending hours upon hours upon hours a day online, and not just for entertainment, for their primary source of education and learning. I am so excited to bring this channel back. I am so excited to get the opportunity to talk with you all again. So let's just dive right into it. This is going to be the beginning of a new series called How to Teach Online, because many of us are going back into virtual classrooms. For me, this was the end of my first week teaching virtually, and I gotta tell you, it is a completely different experience than what we offered when schools closed last spring. So as I have wrapped up my first week, I have three big reflections, and what this is hopefully going to be not only a space for teachers to come and get resources, but also potentially for kids to come and get resources as well. Let's get started with some of my big reflections from the first week of going back into a virtual classroom. So there are three main takeaways. The first one being technology, the next one being relationships, and the last one being my mindset. So first, technology. Technology is our friend. I am so impressed with how my second graders have been able to come in and navigate Zoom, Kahoot, all these other forms of technology. I think where I had a lot of anxiety going into this year was thinking about how not only was I going to need to figure out how to keep my students engaged, but also how am I going to teach them how to utilize this technology from afar? Before, it was a struggle to even get my second graders to be able to type in a website into an internet field, and that was with me assisting them in person. So I had a lot of anxiety and stress thinking about, okay, what am I gonna do, right? But I was pleasantly surprised. Really, by day 2, the kids were logging in by themselves, they were navigating Zoom, they were raising their hand, they were using the chat feature, they were able to navigate from one platform to another. And trust me, I'm not saying by any means that it's perfect, but I can work with this. We can get this done. And I think that this has really just inspired me to utilize even more tools at my disposal to really improve the educational experience of my kids. The next thing that I wanted to mention was how different it is to teach not only kids through Zoom, but to also have their parents in the background. And you know, this took me a lot of getting used to, because we as teachers, when we put our classrooms together, we want to make sure that it's an inviting space for our students and their families, but ultimately we have control over that space. That's our office. That's where we go to work. That's where we go to get it done. This is a little bit different because now we are guests in each and every one of our students' homes, and we need to act accordingly, right? We need to make sure that at the beginning of this year, we are doing everything that we can to accommodate all of our students. You want to come to school and not turn your camera on? Cool. You want to take this class from your bed? Dope. You want to just be and not necessarily participate right now because you've got all sorts of stuff going on around you? That is perfectly fine. We need to find ways to accommodate our students, because honestly, they are accommodating us. They are inviting us into their home in order to help them get the educational experience that they are entitled. So we as educators need to take that role as a guest in our students' homes very seriously, because if we don't, we stand to take withdrawals from the relationships that we're trying to build through a screen. And honestly, none of us can really afford that right now. We need to do everything that we possibly can to make sure that our relationships with our students are as strong as possible. And one of those ways is by being inviting to their families and actually showing interest. This was a really transformative experience for me, because as soon as I stopped caring so much that the parent was there and I felt observed and I felt like someone was watching me, and actually thought about ways that I could bring their families into the learning, it just opened up my mind to what is possible. Imagine How cool would it be to include one of your students' baby brothers or their parent in the morning meeting? How dope would it be to ask for parental expertise on subjects like math, science, reading, to ask their opinion or how they think about a specific topic or issue? Bringing parents into the learning is something that we as educators have been clamoring for years, for decades, basically since the start of public education. Now we have an opportunity to utilize it, and we just have to figure out how to do it effectively. If we do this right, if we get this done correctly right now, we stand to really change our educational system and how our families interact with it and their fluency and their comfort with it in a way that we have yet to see. This is an opportunity to right now build the educational system that we want to see post-pandemic, and it starts with relationships. The more we can include our students and their families, most importantly, in their learning, the outcomes are unimaginable. Which brings me to my last takeaway, mindset. But before we get to that, I know that it's been a minute since I've uploaded. Are you liking the video so far? Consider subscribing. Hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss a single video or update. It really does help the channel, and it gets the content to the people who need it most. Last but not least, let's talk about mindset, because I gotta tell you, my mindset coming off of closures in the spring and an excellent summer where even though things got really intense and a lot of things that we were looking forward to got canceled, you know, it was really the break that I needed. So going back into school and knowing the amount of work and effort that was going to have to go into this to make it an even semi-enjoyable experience for my students had me really anxious. Also, we don't know what type of situation we're going to be in a few months. We might have to switch from a completely digital model going into some form of hybrid model at the drop of a hat, essentially. So really going into this, I didn't know what to expect. What if my kids didn't like me? What if only half of my class showed up? What if the parents thought that I wasn't doing enough to support them and their student? And then I logged in and I saw the faces of my students this year. And instantly I got right back into it, and I remembered why this job and this role are so very, very important. Teachers have a very unique quality. When we are in a space with our students, whether it be physical or virtual, something clicks, something changes, something inside of me at least really becomes clear. I get a sense of clarity and resolve and urgency and purpose that I just don't get in any other space. And it was at that moment that I remembered why this is so important. We have to get this done by any means necessary. We have to make as many phone calls as we have to make. We have to send as many emails. We have to keep as many of our students engaged. We have to go that extra mile because our kids deserve it. We have to have the same growth and positive mindset that we ask of our kids each and every day, because no matter what, they are the ones who stand the most to lose. We don't have control over this pandemic. As individuals, we don't have control over this educational system. We only have control over the educational experiences that we provide for our students. So we have to make sure that we are giving them everything we've got because they deserve it. That's gonna wrap it up for me. I gotta say, it feels real good to be back. There's a lot of dope content on the way, so if you like the video, make sure that you like and subscribe. And remember, if we work together, we can make education for everyone. Until next time, peace.